we don't talk about Saddam Hussein no more. You know what I mean?
Right,
In 100
okay.
times, like, in 100 years, we're still talking about Hitler, but in 100 years' time, like Saddam, no one, he might be a Google search for some
Yeah,
guy that's just
yeah.
gone a deep Reddit hole, and when Reddit's just like this organism that's got arms now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're setting pace with fighting, maybe doing
Right.
some bits that you shouldn't be doing. You know, and then you start to realize you're not a psychopath or a bad person because you have a lot of empathy after you do like some crazy shit.
Did you get people messaging you asking if they should put up the towel? Because
Yeah, like, dude, like, I just was like,
I don't
I'm sitting
care.
here jerking it as hard as I can. Do you think I give a shit about your black tile? And I'm literally got cum on my stomach, and you fucking think I give a fuck about your black tile? Gave Rupert Grint my MSN because he said he's gonna add me when we finish filming, and that motherfucker has still to this day done it, and I will tear off one of your testes and crunch it in my hand in front of you. You fucking prick.
This week on Upgrade Sounds, I speak to Kid Bookie and we discuss everything from Kerrang influencing him at such a young age to growing up in a Nigerian British household and how he views his legacy in music going forward. We also talk about his new album and some of the most important moments in his life. This was a great chat. Welcome to Upgrade Sounds. So,
Let's go!
hello. It's good to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for asking me to come down.
Oh, of course. I like to start from the very, very beginning whenever I talk to anybody about their musical journey. And I think every musical journey can kind of be attributed to a certain rabbit hole moment. Mm-hmm. So if you could think back and tell me exactly when that moment was and describe it in as much detail as you can.
I think Kerrang. I think like just Kerrang as a whole, as an entity, as a brand, as a punisher of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, like always being into music, having early like oh my dad had this vinyl. Oh, I heard Nirvana when I was a kid. I had no idea what it was, but that was dope. That formulated my music taste. But watching the videos on Kerrang was the coolest shit ever. Like, oh my God, I want to be there. I want to have my nails done. I want to have my guitar. I want to wear Jeff Hardy stockings on my arms. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was like the catalyst of my trajectory. And I've never looked back since.
So was there a specific video on Kerrang that takes you down that rabbit hole? Because like I can attribute mine to coming in from school at 6 years old, putting on TMF because we had Freeview. Yeah. And watching the video for Linkin Park's From the Inside. Okay. Now, as soon as that is the most vivid memory of like, I need to be there. I need to be involved with that type of music and culture.
Probably like a good 4 or 5 solid songs. When Sum 41's Fat Lip used to come on, I used to be like, this is like incredible. It was like the best. It was like heavy to me at the time. It was like, what? Good Charlotte's Predictable used to come on, and I used to just think that was just like, oh my God, this is insane. Vermilion by Slip. No, it's probably before that. Maybe actually I think it might have been Wait and Bleed, the video for Wait and Bleed. It was like a live video that used to come on that used to like go visceral in my head. And probably Smells Like Teen Spirit. They were like catalysts to like, this is the coolest shit ever. And the Hives, I wanna get free, I wanna ride into the sun. Like that was the coolest shit ever. Yeah. And Coach, is it Cochise or Cochise?
I think it's Cochise.
Yeah, those are crazy.
Wow. Yeah. So very visceral memories, obviously, those 5. Yeah. And then from there, where does it go for you? So you see these tracks or these music videos and you're like, okay, does that take you to I want to be a musician, or does that take you to I want to be a part of this subculture, or does that take you to I don't know exactly where I fit in this subculture? Like, what does the journey look like from there?
I think at first you're not consciously aware that you're in any culture. Like you just like start formulating your taste around what you're exposed to and what like the home is, because like when you're young, you're not really outside of the home a lot. So you are watching what's kind of like influenced via your parents or whatever. And my parents are like heavy, like they're into rock music crazy. Like their primary listening genre is probably rock. Well, it is rock, but it wasn't like a thing where like my parents are traditional look like rockers. Like my dad's a very weird OCD man who's like doesn't like loud noises and is just like yelling at clouds. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And my mum's very free spirited, very unboxed, like just you know what I mean, like the very unprecedented Nigerian woman who's like extremely broken down from tradition. So. Like, they don't look like that, but the music was what was influenced. So I didn't, like, get into culture until I started going to the skate park.
Right.
And then, like, the rude boys would come down and start robbing everyone.
Okay.
So that's when I was like, there's a thing. Like,
Yeah.
There's a food chain. And for some reason, the grungers are very low in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? We just seem to be getting battered in. And I remember Dell, like, God, like, wherever you are, he got kicked the fuck in. Like, I remember I was just that's when I realised, like, like, what's going on? But, like, Dell just got packed in so hard, and these dudes came down on the bikes.
Who's Dell?
Dell was just, like, he was the coolest skater.
Right.
He was he wasn't the coolest skater. He was the best skater at the batch. He wasn't really high in the cool levels, like, the echelon of cool. He wasn't really up there. But he was a really good skater.
Right.
So it made him cool by default. So it was like the equilibrium of like his levels. I was like, wow, man, that was a bit fucking. He's not really, but he's skating so good, and he was kind of bypass. He's like, but away from my judgment of his character, Dale got packed the fuck in so hard, man. Like, Dale got fucked up. And I remember watching Dale getting beaten down whilst these guys were coming in. They were cool with us, and then they just started beating him up. And then one of them grabbed me, and he like stole my iPod, but he didn't. None of them beat me up, and I was just like, I'm too young to help Dale.
Right.
And it's the first.
How old are you at this point?
13.
Okay.
Dell was about 22, 23.
Dear. Okay. So it was a beat down then to do that to
beat down.
man.
It was a beat down.
Sorry, Dell.
Yeah, like, but Dell also like tried to snitch one time in the future when I was trying to film a video at the skate park. And I messaged him like, "Dell, you've gone weird, bruv." So that's when I told you Dell was not that cool. So the circular narrative does complete. But yeah, so that's when I realized like cultures are crazy. Like I'm getting beaten up for these choices. Like not even to be under a moniker. Like I enjoy these chains on these flared jeans and these huge DCs. Like I'm not scared of them. Like I don't, even when people kind of mock them, I'm still not really attributing like malice to it. I'm just like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with these huge shoes that I'm wearing that are going under my flared shoes with this chain on and this fucking Argos type t-shirt?
Yeah.
And then, so I didn't know, so like I know it's long-winded, but it's just like I enjoy getting to that kind of part. So that's when I realized like, oh shit, I'm a grunger.
Okay.
I'm a skater. I'm a thing. I'm in a thing that attracts like an animal in the jungle. Like I'm a weaker specimen to prey upon due to the choices. And as a young person in your hood, like you don't even know about that shit yet. But like you're just like to your dogs, you're just like you're like the eccentric dude.
Sure.
But you don't even know you're the eccentric dude. You're just who you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got packed in so much. You know,
right.
You know, then there's a couple years where I chose to do the packing in because I had shipped away from like what I loved. Because you know what it's like
when you say shipped away. So I'm assuming you grew up in a Nigerian British household, pretty strict household, right?
Dad was my dad was like, he followed my mum's lead. He's like a white dude, but he was just like, my mum was very good. Like,
so your mum was a disciplinarian. Yeah. Okay.
She was like a heavy matriarch.
Okay. And then, so you had to move away from London, or?
No, it was more like, I just started like, when I went to secondary school, you just kind of like, all the black boys chill with each other.
Right.
It's now not like, you know what I mean? It's not like when you grew up, we just like everyone was together. All the black dudes are chilling with each other and the white dudes are chilling with each other and everyone's calling you a bounty. And you don't know what to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. This is the thing. I think even though I wasn't aware of you until like maybe 2019, 2020, but there's so many experiences that we probably have that ran parallel to each other. Being called a bounty for your music taste and being in subculture is something that I've experienced as well.
You just laugh it off because it's like, it's weird. But it kind of makes you smart because it makes you start to learn the nuances of like people's thinking. And that's really shaped how I interact with people. Very sharp, very quick, because you almost like you've gone through so many kind of repetitive moments. You kind of can diffuse them in ways which lean towards you because you've gone through so much. You kind of know the way the synapse of that person's brain's going to go tick, 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 and you just like boom, 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 and then also it's like just watching like a tree be a massive thing, and all of a sudden it's a little matchstick, and you struck it and
So give me an example of how you diffuse those situations then. And
I'm just extremely stoic, blunt, and sarcastic, and it almost is like borderline rude.
So how did that not escalate the situation?
I think it comes down running parallel with brawn again, because like there's like the monkey reflex, and I don't mean that as like a racist reference. I mean the monkey reflex is in in your chimp brain. In the chimp brain is sometimes fight or flight, like just like scientific whatever. And you can, if you can see someone's raising stress levels of cortisol in front of you, you start to I don't know, it's fun. It's like science. It's like how am I gonna confuse this person to like keep going back and forth? Because like my friends tell me all the time, like keep going back and forth between like you're not sure whether this person's doing something to me or like mock it. I don't know. It's nuanced. Hence why I say it's very new. It depends, but it's like you just learn how to be a motherfucker when people have been a motherfucker to you ultimately. So
okay. And what was the rest of secondary school like? I'm sure it's a secondary school. I guess in our era, or at least in my era, I'm sure we're relatively similar in age. Pop punk, alt rock was kind of at its height. It was coming up. Your MCRs, your Paramours, Linkin Park doing their thing. I was going to say another band, but we can't say that band because they're cancelled.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
They were doing crazy.
They were so huge at that point. Yeah,
it was so big.
So, what does that schooling period look like for you? How does that shape you? What changes are made from 13-year-old Bookie to 16-year-old Bookie and beyond?
Lack of confidence taught me a lot. Because but also taught me that I started to people please a lot early because I was trying to find my way into things. So I thought the best way to do it is to be nice. Well, you have to be nice. That's just a precedence that I walk within. But you kind of like do what you're told to assert yourself into these tribes per se. And so that was like that was kind of how I operated for a minute.
What did that people pleasing look like?
Like end up like going on, not to innocent people, but like when you're in gang culture and shit, just going like you're setting pace with fighting, maybe doing some bits that you shouldn't be doing, and then you start to realize you're not a psychopath or a bad person because you have a lot of empathy after you do like some crazy shit, and it's not crazy shit where it comes down to like me like I don't know, you having to justify it, but like I'm not like doing crazy stuff.
Right.
It's just more like gang culture shit to other dudes, you know what I'm saying? Where it's just fighting and other stuff and all that crap. But and then you realise this is just not who you want to be. This is not you, because you weep when you think of stuff and you have extreme empathy. But I always say you need to go through everything that you don't want to do. You have to be everything you don't want to be to realise who you want to be. And you have to face all the things you've ever did to understand who you are, to learn from things. And it's like it's honest shadow work. It's honest stuff. You have to be comfortable with knowing that you have done good and bad things as a human being. Obviously there's a spectrum of bad, but if you have a moral compass in general, then the bad things are just like arbitrary to everybody. We all we'll rob it, whatever. But so that was a big journey, and I think I only really came comfortable around that in like my very early 20s, like 20, 21, 22. And that's when I really started to take that shift into being, I guess, like in touch and in tune with the things I want to be, even if it took a few years to kind of find my feet, or it took a catalyst to bring me to that kind of horizon that I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was the turning point? Was there a specific incident, or... Like you say, I know you became comfortable at 20, 21,
I just hated getting called grime artist, Kid Bookie. I just hated it.
Right.
I hated it because everything I ever did, even if I experimented with other stuff, it was just grime artist, Kid Bookie, and I wasn't making grime. And sometimes to this day, I think I still have this weird little like, there's nothing grimy about my shit.
Right.
But I just think like, and then you just get thrown into the brackets when you do what you do. So like, I guess I'm always fighting to be accepted as this like artist. Which I want to be, because I believe my music can stand within those kind of levels without just having, because there might be a bit of rap on it. It's like the minute I rap, I'm always just hip hop man. Do you know what I mean? But it's cool. It's a fight that we all have to go through. Or I don't know if we all have to, but...
Do you think the tide's turning?
Yeah. It's not the same, because at the same time, if that's all you're giving people and that's all they know you for, they're going to call you what they see it. It's face value. And no matter what you do in private or how much songs you've got sitting around, which is showcasing and demonstrating what type of artist you are, if it's not there for people to even, dissect, then you're gonna have to fight for that moniker. So, but now I kind of put a lot of my artistry forward. I am a very kind of like I even tactician type of dude. When it comes to music, I'm very like in the lab jacket, little potions in the room type dude. So I think people kind of see that, and it does sometimes put me in my own little bracket, and sometimes it is lonely, even if you're in a massive scene, because it still seems like sometimes I don't fit into these. Even if you go from other places and you haven't fit in, and you go to a new place, you go to places where I guess that you feel at home. Sometimes if some rooms in those houses are still lonely,
right?
Even if you're in a big house together. So, but I guess sometimes that you have to be a precedent or a flag bearer or a torch bearer to some new shit. I'm not saying that I am, but the more
I think you are. I think it's fair to say between yourself and other there's a couple of names that I can think coming through now, but I remember you were the first that messaged me. And the first that showed me, look at the cool stuff that I'm doing that doesn't necessarily stand in with societal norms. I think there's a shred of influence that can be attributed to the likes of Dage and, Nova Twins and all these guys. And I think that comes from you.
It's weird because you want to be like, maybe so. But it's like, it's almost, but at the same time, I think the trajectory that I take keeps me maybe humble. Because I just never believe it could. Right. And maybe that's what it is. And I get messages all the time saying stuff like this from people, even when they get bigger, And they're just like, remember that message you sent me about how to fucking... But I guess, I try not to hold bitterness. I don't hold malice because I understand the world is the world and time is time and everything shifts. It's just a pawn game. And but I enjoyed challenging things and being a very challenging kind of person. Sometimes I think people maybe misconstrued me. I maybe come across as a very cynical, intimidating character, but it's because I am very I'm just not I'm smiles for no reason. Right. I'm very, I can see through your I can see through your vow. And you can see through the veil, so why are you trying to do it, And I think sometimes people notice that, and they know that. So it's kind of like, what's the point of even doing it to him? I'm just gonna end up feeling uncomfortable having a conversation with this dude, right? Because he literally is shutting everything down. And I'm like, it's not like I'm trying to do it, but it's just almost like, bro, we're not gonna do coke in this bathroom. Why should you just tell me some shit like, oh, we should make music, dude? I'm just like, nah, we're just not doing that. You're gonna talk shit about me sometimes, so go fuck yourself.
I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I've seen you speak on certain, let's say, Black History panels or in Black History Month, and please correct me at any point if I'm wrong, but it feels like you almost don't want to, not necessarily talk about race, but you're kind of tired of that conversation when it comes. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, the thing is, I'll talk about anything all day long, but I'm not a victim. Yeah, I'm not a victim, and I'm not no one's card to be like a thing. And when I say I'm not a victim, I mean I am not walking around where people need to be like treat me differently because I'm BAME or some shit, or you know what I mean. I'm a person of color, so we all unite, brother. Because people in the same house are still fighting their way out of the crab bucket. So people are weird. So I can't always just be like, well, look at us holding hands and ring of roses in our own little fight and tribe. Because, like I said, real recognize real, and that is why you kind of, you gravitate to that kind of stuff. And but it's boring. Yes, all of that stuff exists, but there's also like and how do I put it? Like, I guess articulately, I think sometimes it's like when I say I'm not a victim, it's like I'm not like I don't want my whole thing to be based around my fight around trying to be this black person in rock. Like, I get what I am, but my fight is bigger than just being the anomaly. Like, everyone's got fucking issues and problems, but my whole thing isn't just like, you're going to fuck with me because I'm a black person in rock. Because if that's the only reason why you fuck with me, then I haven't connected to you properly. Right. You know what I'm saying? I should, there's deeper connotations than just my color and then the genres I exist in. I know how important it is, and I push that. But at the same time, I do give a lot of nuance and perspective to just being this black thing in rock. Yeah. Because I think I'm way more than that. and I don't want to be treated based off given things or whatever, just for being this black anomaly. Because I'm here.
There's more to you than just
way
that.
more to me than just that. But at the same time, I do recognize what I do for young mixed artists, black artists, whatever, because I talk to them. And sometimes maybe I've been naive to knowing that I am that thing. So I am learning that maybe I am like that thing to some people. But I also want it to be like, if you're fighting for what you are, you just remember, like, you fight for what it is. Don't fight for what your agenda is. Like, I do feel like there's a lot of agenda when it comes to pushing my politics as who I am, and sometimes it's for personal favor because people know what it can be like in the fight. And I don't know, maybe like that's just sometimes I call bullshit what it is, and like my fight isn't to be used as some sort of platform for your brownie points, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Do you think that happens in like the current, landscape that we're in?
Yeah, I think it happens a fuckload, especially if you are, like, half the people, like, bro, people don't care. Like, well, people do care, but it's trendy to care, because if you were to look at, like, COVID, black squares and shit like that. Like,
man.
I just wanted to curl up into a ball and scream.
Yeah,
like,
I remember that day.
In my arm, like, oh my God, this is...
God.
I even saw a video of, like, these black people with these white people, they were kneeling to them, going, "We're sorry."
Yeah.
And I just went, "What's going on?" Like, because this isn't the conversation that we need to have around it. It's turning very, and I think, like I said, if it's not nuanced and it's not taken as interpreted with a very, like, race talks are intelligent, race talks are nuanced, they are special, they are. They are something that makes the world go round in a sense, because people are still kind of hindered from where they are in the rock. If you've just been in this place for so long, then your thoughts are galvanized by what you've seen and experienced from your home or this and other. They're not big enough to sometimes interpret what even race is. And, like, I guess I am a very earthly dude. Like, I do recognize I'm just a bacterium-induced thing on an evolutionary plane that's been around for billions of years. And I'm only here for the shortest time. But the world's existed so longer than me. So I sometimes have to put that into perspective when I'm thinking about things. And it's like, I'm in music and I'm thrown into these things and I'm thrown into that. But, it is bigger. Like, don't get twisted. Sometimes it just seems like I'm just being... But I know how important my race is. I know what I have to fight for in this thing. I'm not once saying, and I never have, nor do I come across that way, that I don't fight for what I am. But I know what people sometimes like to do with... You know what I mean? Like, I should have the same passage of rights and a perceived thing. Like, just when it, like, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate just being the token dude. Like, like, do you know what I mean? Just to be it. Like, I'm way more than that.
No, of course. You've unlocked so many memories when you mentioned those black towels, man.
Oh, God.
Yeah. What a time.
What a time. It was like I was on the ball.
Did you get people messaging you asking if they should put up the towel? Cause
dude. I just was like,
I don't
I'm sitting here jerking it as hard as I can. Do you think I give a shit about your black tile? And I'm literally got cum on my stomach, and you fucking think I give a fuck about your black tile? I'm wiping it up with a sock from yesterday that I cummed in again, for fuck's sake. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Oh man. Let's talk about, because I remember we were talking at the Download launch this year. Oh, no, it might have been actually at Download, because I recognise your tour manager, Pause.
Yes,
and
he's my shout out Kevan Snugs, and shout out to Pause. He does my, like, UK based runs when he's he's a good dog.
Yeah, and I recognise Pause from Know Me TV, which like, I don't know if it's still going, but some of the best memories I had in my teenage years was growing up watching
them clashes, right?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And Paul's and Ten Dixon.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And the one where he smashed Cause as well, but that was a whole other thing.
Yeah. Causa, I remember.
Yeah.
Dempsey and O. Shaden's one.
Oh, man. They're great.
Dempsey, give you a mention.
I didn't realize you were a part of that Know Me crew, And what was that like, I guess? Because that was very early Bookie, wasn't it?
Yeah. The thing is, even then, them lot fuckers hated me, because I was the guy that come through, from school. I was around, like, a lot of the bigger MCs when I was younger, like the Wileys, the P-Moneys, the Desperados, the Dot Rottens, etc., etc. So I was on like Tim Westwood's Radio 1 show from like 15 years old and stuff, you know? So like people just didn't like me when I was young because I think I was a lot cockier.
Right.
But I was a lot cockier because I had a point to prove. Like I didn't get a lot of love, but I got a lot of love from everybody that wanted to get loved by. And I was on, I was consistently on the radio. I was very, I was on Channel U. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like I was, you know what I'm saying? I was on. I was young, and so it's like I'm doing that, but I got local MCs, I guess, that look at me that's just like, I feel better than him, and he's got all of these things.
There's a lot of jealousy in that game.
It was really crazy. So I was very like an outsider in it. I just enjoyed going to the things, and then somehow you're just in a cipher of MCs, and you're just like, oh, God, I fucking hate you all. But it was crazy. It was funny. It was funny because it was just like a very local thing, and that local thing just ended up entertaining so many that I would never know about. Because people talk about No Meal TV all the time, and it's such a local, like, legendary thing.
Yeah,
that it's like
it didn't take off as like maybe the SBTV of its era, but
it didn't go. It didn't have a good. It was like Arsenal fan TV early days.
Yeah,
it was just very like the whole thing was very like raw and rugged. So like SBTV sort of had some sort of like etiquette to it. And
it looked a bit more polished. Yeah. Going forward, got the new album coming. You released the title today, didn't you?
Yeah, Songs for the Living, Songs for the Dead.
What can we expect on the record?
A journey of my mind through the depths of what life is like from birth until the day you are deceased, knowing that we are all running on a different hourglass of sand. Whoever's is ticking through the box quicker or not, it's just a thing that I am fascinated with, because I have no measuring stick. I don't know. So it's just a lot of thoughts, a lot of vulnerability, a lot of heartbreak, and just life and death. Rose petals fall, each one, until there's none left. So.
Did you enter this cycle with a plan, or did it all just kind of come together, this project, and you've decided to call it this, or, how did it all piece together?
I think when you create music, like when you start a project, you have no name, but you create a body of music that will all kind of sync with each other. And, no matter what you sequence them like, you all make them in a certain headspace and a certain time space and within a certain musical palette that you're kind of enjoying at that time. And I think, so you start to subconsciously realize you're making a project, but you don't have a name for it yet. And it was only until I think I had the artwork where it was just, the artwork is just a hand with there's two sides to it, because you've got Songs for the Living, Songs for the Dead. And then on one album, on one of the vinyls, it's, the life version per se, which is just the rose. And then the other one is just dead rose, and the petals are gone. And that is kind of like, each falling petal is just kind of like a metaphor too. That slow ticking hourglass. So, so it was like I had that, and I just was like, oh yeah, this is like, and each song, even an album itself, everything has a running time, beginning and end, and the album is a running time, beginning to an end. So it is like a journey of life through to the end per se. So that kind of came like that, even though I don't have a lot of deathly context on the album. It's centered around just lots of thoughts around a person who is fascinated with the realm of I will never be here again.
Do you think about that a lot?
I think about it in a bigger way than just myself, but like how long I've been, like how long the Earth's been here, how long I'm gonna be here, and how long it's gonna be after me. And I'm such a tiny fraction of that, tiny, like minute. It's ridiculous. It's insane. And so I think when you ponder it, it's like, that's why it's really hard to be in the bullshit. It's really hard to be just this, like, I'm in a place of music and I've got to be this character. I've got to smile in this way. I've got to be this extremely thing. I don't know. I like, because everything's just like, okay, I'm in music. But I didn't never thought I was gonna be here. Like, I didn't think I'm gonna make money from music. I didn't think I'm gonna be working with the people I do. I didn't think I'm gonna be on the channels I watched that influenced me. All of this stuff. So it's very, what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's weird.
Is it a case of you wanting your music to live on after you?
Well, yeah, ultimately, because that's the only kind of thing that's going to outlast me, other than assets that parts down or etc. I don't know how long music's going to survive because it has to be recorded, and then if a nuclear war holocaust happened, like inside, where does what survives? Do you find divine? Like, you know what I mean? If is there an MP3 on the floor? Like, where is it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I do? Like, so it's like, just however, like, I've just got this audio, these recordings, and it fascinates me. So does the sea. I'm an extreme marine biology fan, but yeah, that shit fascinates me beyond. Doesn't it fascinate everybody? It's just like everything that, like, do you even know your great-great-grandmother's name?
My great-great-grandmothers. I know my grandmothers and my great-grandmothers, not my great-great-grandmothers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy.
But I know she was white and she was German.
Okay. But then, yeah, that's where it
So I mean, that's all I know about her is that. I don't even know her name.
And she's not spoken about, is she?
No.
So that's how crazy. What do I do in my moment? Like, am I here for a legacy? Like, is that what we all do, or is legacy just sperm and a womb? You know what I mean? Like, is it everything else? Is it what you do? Of course, it's what you do on Earth, and this creates a legacy. But we don't talk about Saddam Hussein no more. You know what I mean? In 100 times, like, in 100 years, we're still talking about Hitler. Well, in 100 years' time, like Saddam, no one. He might be a Google search for some guy that's just gone a deep Reddit hole, and when Reddit's just like this organism that's got arms now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's like things like that fascinate me. So I am always like, I don't know, like that's a very big part of my spectrum.
Wow. Yeah. It's powerful, man. I'm going to have to wrap it up pretty soon because we've got another guest coming on. Sure. But I'll be remiss if I let you go without asking. Harry Potter.
Yeah, it was in the fifth one.
How did that even
come about? I was in an acting school. Well, I didn't get accepted in really because I was naughty. But I did Saturday classes where Matt Willis from Busted also went as well.
Oh my gosh. At the same time as you?
No. He was older. Like, he's older. He was, like, older than me. So, but his picture was on the wall, and so was Amy Winehouse's.
Brit school?
No, it was, like, Sylvia Young.
Okay. Yeah.
And when Harry Potter's come around, they cast for extras. So if you're in the part of the school, you get casted for it. You go through your fit-ins. You go through your, like, this whole crazy process. Like, everything tailored for you. And, so, yeah, I got asked to come through for the Order of the Phoenix, did my shit, did my GCSEs there and everything, gave Rupert Grint my MSN because he said he's going to add me when we finish filming, and that motherfucker has still to this day done it, and I will tear off one of your testes and crunch it in my hand in front of you. You fucking prick. So.
Wow. Okay, so we're not fans of Rupert Grint.
No, I love him to pieces. I'm just quite a visceral person when I speak.
Of course. Listen, bro, thank you so much for coming on and taking the time. I appreciate you so much, man. And new album's out September 16th.
Yeah, Scar's out now. I've enjoyed doing these really like calm interviews where I just get to speak without being put on the spot. I
think it's important. I want to talk about the real you. I don't just want to talk about just your art or, just you've got this coming up. Tell me all about it. The same questions you get over and over again. I want to learn about what makes you tick. We got to get you back on.
Yeah, I'm always here. Let's do it, man. Period, blood for life.
Absolutely. Thanks, bro.